Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night Podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. With me today is Matt.
Hello.
And Rob. It's the original podcast. We got rid of everybody else. Yes.
Yes.
We blocked Adam out. We tried
we weren't
hard.
on the show last week, so we kicked everybody else out.
I was on the show. Does that mean I need to leave? All right,
Okay,
I'll see you guys later.
You can say.
Okay. Oh, man. But yeah, Adam has been trying to join the podcast, but his computer decided that it was going to do all sorts of funky stuff right before the show started. So, hey, he was rushing to get, ready to do the thing, and then and then the computer was like, no thanks. But hey, we get to have a moment of old school podcast.
Good times.
How are things going, guys?
Man, things are going pretty good. I've played so many games since our last show.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start, so I'm only going to talk about a couple of them tonight. But doing well, just busy, and excited to be back. Sorry I missed the last show. I missed you guys terribly.
Mm-hmm.
And glad to be back. How are you doing, Matt and Roy?
I'm chilling, man. I mean, I don't know. It's been interesting because I also have played a decent amount of games recently, and it feels like it's rare for me and Rob to actually get to do that.
Yeah.
So it's been good.
It's so funny because I always play a decent amount of games, but then for some reason I always forget about the ones that I play for work. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I played that game. That game's actually... I'm doing it right now. I'm like, I played a game that's an extremely big game that I probably should talk about. Because this weird thing, sometimes I'll play a game and it's like, oh, that's embargoed. You can't even do the review until this time. So I just kind of forget about it. And then it's like, what the... And then I forget to even put it in my my show thing, so I don't have pictures of me playing it. So there you go.
I don't talk about anything that's new. I talk about stuff that has been out for 1 year.
I talk about stuff that I like, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm just I just want to talk about this thing that I like. So it's, or normally stuff that me and Ruthie play together because, when she's on the podcast with me, it's like, we can talk about this together. So that's always fun. But yeah, well, we have a bunch of different things to talk about today.
Yeah, like what? What are we going to talk about today, Roy?
We are going to talk about welcome. It says welcome is this first slide here. And then the news. So this first news article that we're going to talk about is Spellbook. This is by Phil Walker Harding. This is a game about casting all sorts of different spells. I should have had the actual copy in here so I could talk about it even more. But I know that this was his take on a Rummy-ish style game of being able to collect a bunch of different spells and then be able to cast them all out. Phil Walker Harding games normally have tons of different combos in them and putting stuff together. So I'm really excited to see how this one comes together. Yeah, he's done so many good things. That'll be cool to see. But yeah.
I have we don't have Kent on the show. And so, yeah, I'm just like, wow, Spellbook.
Spellbook. Never heard of it.
It looks like you could do spells. I love the art. I love the yellow. And I think
it's by Space Cowboys, and Space Cowboys normally does some pretty solid stuff overall.
Those guys are loco.
Yep.
They're out of this world.
Bro, they are out of this world.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Wasn't that a movie?
Yeah.
Space Cowboys?
Oh, yeah, man.
I think so.
Yeah, it wasn't about those aliens that came to invade. It had the guy from James Bond. No, that was Cowboys versus Aliens. Spaceballs. They were Spaceballs, which is a classic. But that's not these guys. These guys are making board games.
Yeah, but classic podcast moment.
Courtney in the chat says, Phil Walker Harding is the best.
You know what?
He made
Courtney,
Sushi Go. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah,
Courtney,
yeah.
Why don't you just be on vacation?
Gizmos.
Why don't you just be on vacation? I can say that because she's not here, but in person, I'm scared of Courtney.
I still need to play Gizmos.
You haven't played Gizmos?
No, I still
Matt!
haven't played it.
I don't think I played Gizmos.
That seems insane to me because it seems like that very much feels like your style of game.
I remember you saying that on the OG podcast, and I was like, I should buy this. And then I was like, somebody has it. Somebody probably has it. And then,
Yeah.
there was that year
That's
that I just didn't play
crazy, man.
games.
Isn't that the one where the box is like blue and yellow and it's got like the
You're a mad scientist and you're trying to build all these different
yeah.
contraptions.
Yeah, it has
But
like
basically
nuts
the
and
whole
bolts and
game
stuff.
is like it's like these marbles coming out of this little chute, and you're collecting those marbles. And the entire game is building machines to allow you to collect marbles faster. And when
Yep.
you collect the correct colors, then you can build more machines. And you're just like doing combos. Like, okay, I built this yellow thing, which when I build a yellow thing, I get to take a thing. So I take a black energy, and when I take a black energy, I get to take a random energy. But when I do this, I also get to get this, and it gives me points, and it does that, and does this, and it's all these combos together. So as you build up your mad scientist machine or whatever, it just gets crazy. It's just like combo, 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 combo.
Maybe I should
Which
just
is
buy
fun.
it. Like, what? What
It's
am I
pretty.
playing now?
It's
What's
pretty
one more game in
simple
in
to
your
teach.
collection?
It's pretty easy to like learn, and it's really easy to get to table. It's one of those games that I like to teach it to people, but also I feel bad when I teach it to people because
You
I
wreck.
normally do. I normally do pretty good in that game, and there's not a whole lot of player interaction.
I
So
had a
it's like,
situation like that this weekend.
it's like, oh, I love this game. I probably shouldn't teach it to you because when we did play Gizmos when Ryan and Chuck were down here, and Ryan's like, oh, we should play Gizmos, and I'm like, are you sure you want to play Gizmos with me? He's like, it doesn't matter. And then afterwards he's like, yeah, that was bad. It's like, well,
Yeah, this weekend I taught a couple of Sammy and Nick from our D&D group. I taught them how to play Blood Rage this weekend, and
Oh yeah, that's
I was
another
like,
one
hey,
of
I'm not
those.
gonna really try. Like, I really want you
Adam's
guys.
here.
And by the time it was all said and done, I won by like 60 something points,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't even really like trying. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, my bad, man. It just, like I could have drafted better. I could have done more. And they were like, mm-hmm. But they still loved the game. Still had a great time with the game.
There's a lot of people that don't like games with interaction in them because they don't want people to mess up their stuff. I'm very
Yeah.
much the opposite of that. I want that interaction. I
Yeah.
want people to be able to drag me down. I want to have to like argue with people to not attack me, even though they probably really should. I just find that fun. So sometimes people publicly execute you in Twilight Imperium, and it's really hard
I
to come
mean,
back.
Look, it's fun because it's a moment, We can keep
But
talking
you
about it.
also probably deserve it.
I mean, to be fair, I think you were like 5 points ahead of the next closest person. So it was like, all right, Roy's really trying to end this. We were just having a good Saturday, eating snacks.
Is that the same Saturday that Roy betrayed my trust?
That was like every Saturday, Rob.
Roy was like, hey, man, you don't do this, and I won't attack you. And I was like, all right, man, fine. I'll stop right here. I won't go through your territory. And then the very next turn, just wrecks all my stuff.
That doesn't sound like me at all. You're confusing me with Trevor.
May
or
have been.
something.
I don't know.
Definitely Roy.
Oh. Hey, Adam, do you have anything to say about Spellbook, seeing that we're not talking about it at all?
Yeah. Sorry, I got here really last minute. I've like not read the news or anything. So where's Kent when you need him?
That's what they said.
I'm
worry,
usually
Courtney's
so
in
good
chat.
about at least reading the news that I don't know. But today I got home at like 8:40, so it was just kind of.
What movie did you go see?
I wasn't at the movies. I was fishing.
Ah, okay. Nice.
Nice.
Well, hopefully the fish didn't catch the spell on you.
Oh,
Pull a couple in.
And you can book another fishing trip.
Yeah, you could book another fishing trip. Yeah.
The end. Next story. Next story is Heroescape. So they did have the Hasbro Pulse for Heroescape, and they were trying to bring it back, and it just barely didn't fund. Like they wanted like
Oh wow.
a couple $1 million or something like that, and it only made like $1 million, so they decided not to make the game.
yeah, that's a weird one.
And then
Did they
now
refund all the money?
they didn't take anybody's money at all. So then now Renegade Games is picked up the license for Heroescape, and they're going to be bringing it back. I'm not sure what all is in the books for it, but they said that they're going to try to have tons and tons of different releases for Heroescape, and they're going to be trying to put it back out. So Hasbro has done a bunch of partnerships with Renegade recently allowing them to pick up a lot of their other like old Avalon Hill games. So now they're going to be picking up HeroScape as well.
I'm kind of excited about this. I really like HeroScape. I got to play a couple times. I remember building an army with a gladiator, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the Incredible Hulk, and a couple of dinosaurs and one dragon. And just like makes no sense whatsoever. But had so much fun just wrecking shop. You guys remember that kid I brought over a couple times, Steven, from a long time ago? Like he had a ton of that HeroScape stuff. And
awesome.
We played I would love for this to come back. I think it's a cool IP. My only concern is going to be cost. Is this going to be like...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, is this going to be like super expensive? Because
are they going to be able to actually do the terrain and everything? We'll see.
Yeah.
It feels like Renegade's pretty good candidate for this game just because it's kind of this... I don't know. It feels like it could have like pretty good like story or theme built into it. And Renegade has that whole division that does like RPG books and stuff. So it just... I don't know. It feels like the right flavor could, since our theme is Ameritrash tonight. Like it feels like you could throw a lot of theme on top of a reskinning of that, and Renegade tends to make pretty nice stuff. So I'm positive.
And one of the cool things too is they have a whole bunch of IPs that they normally work with. So I wonder if they're going to be able to shove in some weird, crazy IPs. I mean, they do G.I. Joe, they do Transformers, they've done My Little Pony. They've all done all sorts of different games. So I wonder if
they have Power Rangers right now too.
Yep.
Yeah, they have Power Rangers as well. Right now.
So, that could be really cool. Like a
and they have Axis and Allies, so you can play as specifically German soldiers, maybe.
Oh gosh.
Well, you know.
What did you just say?
I said they also have the Axis and Allies license.
In HeroScape?
No, but I'm saying maybe, you know.
Yeah, because Renegade.
Also. I mean, they had that in the old HeroScape. Like you could play as like
number 2.
They even had like Civil War. Like I think Colonel Custard was
wow.
Yeah, there's a wild amount of sets for that game.
Yeah, they had gladiators. Like they went all the way back into BC, baby. Like they went way back.
I know a ton of other publishers really wanted this like HeroScape license. I know Plaid Hat really wanted it. I know Restoration Games really wanted it, so it's interesting that it ended up with Renegade. Well, it makes sense because they work with Hasbro on a lot of other things recently. So, but it'll be cool to see what they do with it.
Yeah, call me curious. I mean,
yeah, I do wonder how long it's going to take for anything to actually start moving on this. You know,
I would imagine it's gonna be a while, just because it's such a components heavy game too. Like even the old version of it.
Well, they had that version that we're going to do on Pulse, and I know some people that worked on that, and like that was ready to go. So I wonder if they're gonna actually allow them to launch with that stuff and start on it, or if they're just gonna be scrapping everything and going fresh with it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really loving right now? Bringing back old games, Restoration Games, man.
Oh, for sure.
They're like killing it right now. I don't know if HeroScape is old enough, you know, or it might be, but man, Restoration Games. If you told me Restoration Games got their hand
I would be way more excited. I would be like,
I would be ridiculously excited. I'd be like, okay, like this is going to be huge, and they're going to have everything because they only do everything well that they've touched so far. Like I haven't played a bad Restoration game remake yet.
It's actually really amazing how good their stuff is.
And they're making enough tweaks and changes to make it like relevant with the rules and stuff to today. Like they're an up and coming. They're not up and coming, but like
they've been around now.
I do like companies that I like and I look out for. Like always looking out for the FFG and the CMON. I now look for Restoration Game stuff.
For sure, I do a series, or I edit a series. On the Dice Tower, where Game Nerds talks about their best-selling games of each month, and every single month there's like 2 unmatched sets on it, and sometimes it's always like different unmatched sets, and it's like holy smokes, unmatched is just selling so much. So Restoration Games is not doing bad. Not to mention that like Thunder Road's amazing and Dark Tower's amazing, like, all that stuff's amazing.
I think that's just exactly what you mentioned with like Undaunted, or not Undaunted, but the Unmatched sets. Like they keep coming out with it, so it's like they've already shown they have the track record to keep something up and support it.
I need to play that.
You played it? That's crazy, Rob.
We were gonna do it when we were all at the cabin, and then we just never squeezed it in. But
that's crazy.
Matt, you have Unmatched?
I don't. I've never actually played it either.
Oh
Holy
man,
smokes.
yeah, we gotta do that.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
It's such an easy game to get to the table too.
Yeah, it plays quick. It's not hard to learn, even though it's tactically relatively deep. And it's got that. That's the thing with restoration. Not to totally make
We've
Renegade feel
derailed
bad.
it. Let me
Renegade-
just.
we've derailed it. But you know what? It's the toy factor. The toy factor with them is always really good. Like they have these big
Yes,
set
yeah, yeah.
pieces,
Yeah.
and that's what's happening with Unmatched. I have a lot of it. I don't have all of it, but there's people who are like they're not gonna miss a single bit of that collection, man. Like whether they're playing it or not. And
Yeah, yeah.
What's your favorite set so far, or what set do you think I should buy for Unmatched?
I would get the 2 Jurassic Park sets. I think they're the most fun to play.
Really?
Even though one of the
You do
yeah,
that
well, I
over
mean,
the Marvel stuff.
yeah, I actually kind of like Unmatched for more of the
Anachronistic
weird
stuff?
history mashups and stuff.
Yeah.
I like
I
all
like-
of it, honestly.
I like it all, but I think the funnest is like InGen Raptors and then the T-Rex set, just because you can have this big Jurassic Park battle. It's a blast. I did a 4-player game with all of that a couple weeks back, and it
Oh,
was
boy.
like just super. Yeah, it was super fun. 4 players is chaos in that game, but it is worth doing.
I've been playing 3 players a lot to test out the new Marvel sets, and
Mhm.
yeah, it like multiplayer is wacky just because you're all just punching each other in different directions. So,
Yeah.
all right, with a little bit more of somber news, Lorcana, which we've talked about several times before, is a game from Ravensburger that's coming out. And then sent in the news recently, which we're talking about news right now, Upper Deck has come out and claimed that the designer had previously designed the mechanics for a game that they were doing. And they are basically suing him and Ravensburger for stealing the game from them. Mostly suing him, I think, and then like all this stuff. And this is kind of like a new president. Speaking of restoration games, Justin Jacobson talked a little, like tweeted a little bit about this, talking about how it really just depends on how the contract was written, and normally you can't copyright mechanics and mechanisms for games, but if he was contracted to do the actual game and it's like a carbon copy, then there could be some like foothold, but it really just depends on how things go. So I just wanted to mention this and see what you guys thought about it or whatever, and if you think this is gonna hinder Lorcana at all, or if Disney will step in and just make it disappear. I don't know.
That's the thing. Those Disney
That is-
lawyers are not to be trifled with.
But I do wonder because like Disney just licensed the IP to Ravensburger. I'm sure they're not happy about this situation at all. So
Yeah,
it's
no, I think it'll
interesting.
probably delay it. Because I imagine they would get in more trouble if they went ahead and released it and made any income off of it, and then it was found guilty in court of law, found like some type of mis breaking the contract in any way possible. So
Yeah.
they'll probably delay it. That kind of sucks because I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. I hope it doesn't get delayed. What'll probably happen if Disney gets their hands on it, Disney will just settle outside of court.
Right.
Give like a year pass to like Disney World and Disneyland or something like that.
give Upper
But
Deck-
Disney right now is also kind of bleeding a lot. Disney's in talks about selling their Star Wars IP, possibly
Holy
back to
smokes.
George Lucas. They're pulling Marvel shows from Disney Plus left and right. A lot of their stuff is sort of tanking right now, and there's still like ongoing suits in Florida with Disney right now. So I don't know if not like this is going to make like national news to like some of the other Disney stuff,
Right.
but this is just one more thing to make Disney not look so great. And so I don't know, they might just squash it and put it on hold until it's dealt with. They don't want more bad PR.
Yeah, it is interesting, like from like a design standpoint, to just think about like, okay, like how different is this game than the other game?
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, there are so many collectible card games that are so extremely similar. So it's
Yeah,
interesting
you're
to
buying
like
the
know.
art. Yeah.
I mean, unless it was like exactly the same. Like it seems like it'd be really hard for them to defend it, but maybe it is. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of an open and shut case. Like basically, what you were saying is you just read the contract, and if he was contracted to make a game and he made a game that was like that, if the idea still belongs to Upper Deck, there it is.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So the next one here is Stalker. This is a new board game coming from Awaken Realms. This is on GameFound currently. I actually have the page here. They're making $2 million.
Yeah.
So this is
Yep.
it's going crazy. It looks a lot like a I don't know if it's like first person shooter where you're running around fighting all these baddies. Awaken Realm games always look so good, but I'm always terrified about the rules. That setup right there of just like all the rooms and all the monsters everywhere. It looks like just like a gigantic Mansions of Madness horror board.
Yep.
It looks so cool. But yeah, I really hope this game is good.
I want Kent to back this so bad. I no shot am I paying for this or learning this damn game.
Yeah,
but if Kent Parker gets it, we're playing this, Bad Jackson. I'm gonna have a great
He might
time.
already be on it. Like
it's not that bad though. What's that base pledge? Is $95?
Yeah,
it's not too bad. It looks fucking awesome. Oops, sorry, I let that one slip.
It just looks.
It looks dang
amazing.
Cool.
It's darn good.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, like their miniatures and their production quality is just always so on point, and it just looks crazy. Survival mode. My thing with Awaken Realms games is just like I'm always terrified of how hard it's gonna be to learn those rules to the game.
Yeah,
I
mean,
their stuff for some reason it just never comes across as intuitive for me. And I'm normally pretty good at learning games, but like I'll play one and then I'll be like, it just doesn't stick in my head ever. So it's interesting. But they're always normally really fun while you're playing them. So it's interesting.
It's just the setup, man. Like, I think the worst thing to happen to me with Awaken Realms is Nemesis coming out on the PC. Because now I don't know if I want to play Nemesis anymore. Setting everything up and taking care of everything. And Stalker looks great, but my God, did you see all the stuff you were scrolling through? Like, all the things you'd have to take care of, all the things you'd have to set up, like... It just seems like a lot, and I don't know if the Stalker board game would be as good as Stalker the video game.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the weird thing with some of these. I mean, we're going to probably talk about this more at the topic, but these big thematic games, it's like you start to get into this weird realm where, like, are you satisfying a board game itch with this thing because there's so many little like kind of tendrils that the rules can narrow down into, which is what Nemesis kind of did. I remember the first time we played Nemesis having that moment where we'd be like, what are we supposed to do? And then 8 minutes later, after we delineated it, we'd be like, oh, that makes sense. It feels good for the theme, but it took us 8 minutes to figure out what we're supposed to do in this circumstance because you didn't gather it when you were skimming through the rule book, which is this thick and a little convoluted. And but man, this looks really cool.
Make gorgeous games. They probably are one of the top 3 designers for aesthetics.
Right.
Yeah.
Nemesis is gorgeous, right?
Yeah. And the theme is great. The theme is awesome.
All this stuff looks amazing. The artwork, the quality, like I'm not worried about that stuff. Like
I mean, I think they beat Simon in miniatures. Like the sculpts and stuff are better than which is saying something, I used to always be like Simon's the king of miniatures, but like no, I mean Arcane Wonders and the Awaken Realms, I mean, just does ridiculous job.
Yeah, they really do.
Awesome.
This can be tough. Yeah, Kent, if you're listening to this, please back this game so we can all play.
Yeah, please do.
Well, this next one is another, this is a backer kit that's going on right now, and it is Gloomhaven. Let me scroll back up to the top of this. This is the Grand Festival. So we were talking about this at work. It's going to be interesting because this is a backer kit instead of a Kickstarter. How big do you guys think this is going to go? This is Gloomhaven Miniatures, Frosthaven Reprint, Gloomhaven 2nd Edition, and Gloomhaven Role-Playing Game all together.
How much is all of it?
Tom came in Tom, it's like 500 something altogether.
Oh, not so bad.
And Tom
still a
came
lot.
in. Tom came in to me today and was like, "How much money do you think it's gonna make?" And I'm like, "It's so hard to tell because it's on BackerKit, you know, and BackerKit hasn't really been tested like to the scale of what this is gonna test
Well, is
it
this
to."
live what we're seeing right now?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
already at
Yes.
1.1 million.
Yes, on day one.
Yep.
Yeah,
You
it's
have
gonna
30
get to
days left to
2.
go.
Bro, it's
Oh, it's definitely gonna get to 2, duh. But the thing
Yeah.
is, the biggest one they had, what was it? How much did Frosthaven do? Was it 14?
It was wild. I
Yeah.
can't remember, but it was wild. It was like a box office weekend.
Right. So basically, we're thinking that that Cephalofair is just trying to have the biggest project ever, by putting all of these different Gloomhaven facets together. Because they're not releasing like one product here; they're releasing multiple things, like second edition of Gloomhaven,
I don't
as
think
well
500
as
is that bad for all of it.
all these miniatures.
And here's why. Here's why. Yes, it's a lot of money. I don't have $500. They're not getting my $500. But when I did Joan of Arc, right? I've played Joan of Arc twice, and I spent close to $1,200 on Joan of Arc. I would definitely play. I think Gloomhaven is a better game. I think Gloomhaven has a better audience, and I think it already has a history of success. To
Oh,
go
for sure.
all in to get the most deluxe version of Gloom, because see, I don't have any of the Gloomhaven, right? Just because I didn't want to get a game where they're talking about like 100 hours minimum to beat just the campaign. Because back when we were doing this show, every week, we were trying to play new games often. Now, I
Right.
would get a Gloomhaven now as my daughters get older. Like that could be a family campaign that we could do. And you're telling me that I could get Gloomhaven with the RPG, with all the expansions, with all the minis for like $500? When I look at my past mistakes, aka Joan of Arc, I'm thinking this is a good deal from a proven company and a proven track record.
Yeah. I want to know, is this going to come with a map book for my maps, or am I going to have a million tiles?
Ooh. Yeah. I feel like they should have already went to a map book. You know what I mean?
I know Rob doesn't like map books, but I love the map book in Jaws of the Lion. It just makes it so easy to just open the page, run around on the board, and just make it happen. Like, it's so much easier than digging through piles and piles and piles of dungeon tiles for me.
And that could just be
these
an
miniatures
extra
look
stretch goal.
amazing.
Extra
They're really not
books
that
of
bad.
maps.
I love this guy. The flaming blade spinner.
The cool thing is if you back this all the way, and I haven't read anything about the RPG system yet, but the RPG nerd in me is like, you can just double dip on this. You can play the board game, and you could be running the RPG if I'm assuming it has like some kind of grid combat rules, and you could be running it with all these miniatures. Like just
That's what I do now with my Joan of Arc.
This is like the infinite Gloomhaven campaign, because you play through Gloomhaven, you play through Frosthaven, and then we're like, well, we're out of content. We're just gonna play the RPG for the rest of our lives.
Does the RPG have that Euro-y combat? I wonder if
I think so. I was looking at the RPG part of this, and it had the little deck of cards as part of the RPG. So I feel like it's gonna be very similar combat mechanics. I mean, you could easily do that. That'll be great,
I'll be really interested to see how that works out when they have an actual play, because you could have a pretty wild ecosystem here. I know a lot of people who play a lot of 5th edition will buy the 5th edition board games because it's literally cheaper to get the board game to get all the miniatures from that particular book than it is to buy them wholesale.
Even just this base set of Gloomhaven miniatures, for $130 for 259 miniatures total.
Yeah, that's like 40 cents a piece or
is
something.
A decent sized dragon.
When you're getting miniatures for less than $1 a piece, this is like bananas. And they look really good, and they're all the crazy Gloomhaven themed miniatures. This backer kit might go bananas,
Well, see,
yeah, just if minis people get onto this, you just minis painting people alone could just, if you can just back that level.
Do the minis already come together, or do you gotta
I think they already come together. I mean, the pictures here all have it it looks like you get a gigantic Gloomhaven box, and you just get tons and tons of Gloomhaven miniatures.
I would pay $130 for somebody to put the rest of my minis together.
259 miniatures in that. Holy smokes, that is
A lot.
that's
a
a
deal.
pretty good deal.
They must have done really good off of Jaws of the Lion. They were like, guys, we're giving back to the people.
They
Come
did
on.
really good. I mean, they had the highest Kickstarter ever, and now they're going to backer kit. I do wonder how much of a cut backer kit's taking.
They had
Honestly,
the highest Kickstarter board game ever.
Right, highest Kickstarter board game ever. You're right. But I do wonder, like, if backer kit's just like, we're gonna host you just to get the audience, you know, which would be huge for them in general, you know.
Do you think backer kit do you think it's gonna have like anything exclusive, like where if we don't jump on now, are we gonna like beat ourselves up in the future like crap?
They're acting like these prices are exclusive, so that's for sure.
That's a good deal.
Oh yeah, because it says the minis MSRP is going to be 180 instead of 130, so it's $50 off.
Yeah,
180 though, still not that bad.
No, not for 259.
that's
I mean,
crazy.
like,
When we're
again-
saying that the MSRP on this will be just as good, if not, I mean, not just as good, but you know.
But
Yeah.
it won't be horrible. Like again, it just strictly from like if I'm going to play the RPG or I'm just going to use these for homebrew D&D. Go into your friendly local game store and look at unpainted WizKid miniatures.
Right, they're
They're
way more
$3 a
expensive.
pop.
Yep.
Yeah.
For the little ones. Big monsters and stuff are more than that, $6, $7, $8, $10. Man, that alone.
Adam's talking himself into it.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't play
There you
enough.
are.
I don't play enough
So you
textbook
got
combat.
29 days to think about spending $130.
If they start doing stretch goals on this thing,
Ooh.
I'm gonna
and
be
start
like,
adding in extra miniatures.
oh, I backed the RPG version and I got the miniatures version, and yeah, you won't spend the full 500, but
One thing I didn't see is I didn't see a loadout for Jaws of the Lion miniatures. If they had just a small box set, like a little bit smaller than this, for just Jaws of the Lion, I would actually be interested in that, because I haven't played through all of Jaws of the Lion yet. But that's kind of the way I want to play Gloomhaven. I have a sealed box of Gloomhaven that I've never touched, a purchased edition, sitting on my shelf. And just
Hey,
sits
same.
there.
we better sell it right now because it's
No, it's too late. The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
There was so many Gloomhaven around that it wasn't worth that much anyway. I keep occasionally checking, and now
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like.
it's a good
bombed
like
out
home
completely.
defense thing. Like somebody invades your house, like you can like throw it out. You definitely do like
good
4
force.
points of damage.
Yeah, for sure.
Either that or like you could stop
It's
at the
actually too heavy to be placed on the metal rack part of my shelf.
Holy smokes!
Just at the base game, not even with any inserts.
You put it on the bottom to help the shelf stay stable.
Yeah. It sits on top of the calyx that holds the shelves up.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
that
a good deal. We'll have to come back to this maybe on our next show and see what million marker they're at. 2 weeks in.
okay.
Yeah,
What
that'd
do you
be
guys
interesting.
think? Let's
Yeah, wanna
take
take
let's
bets?
take
Let's take
guesses.
bets.
How high do you think it's gonna go
Within 2 weeks or in total?
in total?
Oh, I'll say probably what they do on Frosthaven, 12.9 million. I'll say this will probably 15. Under or above or under or whatever.
It's so
Under-
hard to gauge
150.
because it's backer kit, right? So it's like,
Yeah. Well,
like,
I
are
also
there-
feel like
are there people that you're gonna say, "Hey, back my," like I had this constantly with Last Light, where I'm like, "Hey, we're on GameFound." People would be like, "What?" I'm like, "GameFound." It's kind of like Kickstarter, and they're like, "I have no clue what you're talking about." So then I had to sell them on GameFound and sell them on my game. So I feel like backer kit's gonna be the same sort of situation.
Yeah, but is the Dice Tower talking about this?
I mean, we talk about everything, but also the Dice Tower is a niche of people. Gloomhaven fans are way bigger than the Dice Tower.
But that's what
you
I'm
know?
saying though. Like there are already millions of Gloomhaven fans, and then you have companies like your company and our podcast and all these other people that are going to be talking about it. I think the word is definitely going to get out there.
Yeah.
A lot. I feel confident when it's all said and done with the minis and everything. And if they break it down, I want to say at least 40% of all sales is just going to be minis. That's
Yeah.
such a good deal, man. 50 cents a mini.
If the D&D people get on this, it could be even higher, because they could be like, cool, Gloomhaven's cool, but also minis for a really good price.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I wonder if that's hit any of like the TTRGB
Wayne?
RGB Reddits and stuff.
Wayne, you need to watch yourself, Wayne. You were arguing with me earlier about
Wayne's
Uh,
lowballing you.
stuff. Look, man, they're going over 10. I don't even own any of this stuff, and I'm gonna say the goal.
I think they might pass Frosthaven, or which will be actually good.
13.
You know,
Yeah.
I know they want to blow Frosthaven out of the water, but I do wonder how much people are going to adopt the new platform. But it'll be great for Backer Kit regardless. You know, Backer Kit has got to be loving this.
Yeah.
The full miniature set is $325. Like for everything.
603 minis though.
How many miniatures is that?
603.
603 miniatures for how many?
Oh my gosh! What did I just say was $325?
So it's like what, 52 cents a mini?
Yeah. I mean, the deal is great, but oh my! Like, where would you put?
I now have a whole shelf system just for my D&D stuff. Like, you know what I would do? I would get rid of my Joan of Arc boxes, and I would.
I think Rob's more likely to back this than me now because he's got the tactical table.
Well, here's the thing. I can't really use all of my Joan of Arc minis. I use the buildings and stuff more, but the other minis are like so small, right? They made them super small.
They made them
So unless I create like a gnome army, which that'd be kind of funny to make like an army of gnomes.
It's a field of pixies.
Right. That's probably going to happen now. That
you just make like an army of ghost kids. No,
yeah. All the kids that Sammy's killed throughout the campaign.
Oh my
god. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, I would back it for the minis because I use that stuff for my D&D stuff, and my group loves it. And 50 cents a mini. I mean, I put all these stupid miniatures together now that turn out great, but the quality's not very good because they're all very light. It's a very thin plastic. It takes me hours upon hours just to put one box together. I still have like 3.5 boxes put together, and I spend a couple $100 on that, and it's not this good quality, and it's not, it's not as thick or heavy as this. And I could get these minis now and then get Roy's copy of Gloomhaven in the future, but I'll still have all the minis to go with it because it says it's first or second edition. So it's not a bad investment just to get the minis now.
I don't think so, because most, especially like you guys are playing 5th edition, like ish, like homebrew 5th edition, like you could easily take these 10 imps and just give them goblin stats, right? Then you got a whole little army of 10 imps, or the Vermling Scout that's a kobold or whatever. Like it's just not like that hard to do to convert them over to something, and they do. See, now I kind of want them. Next story.
We don't have any more stories. We gotta go to what we're playing.
Oh, they look so good.
I was gonna say I was not sure about this, and you guys have kind of also sold me on it. I don't know what I'll get, but
I'm too broke for this. I'm too broke.
I know. I'm still paying for going to Hawaii. Like, bro, that's like a year to pay off.
Man. Just don't worry about it. Just pay later.
God, if Kickstarter had a pay later option.
Man.
Bro, what if you could apply for a Kickstarter card? It's 17%, 20%, 20% on the credit card.
25.6% APR.
Yeah.
That's what it would be.
Yeah, just pay back.
Oh man, going into debt for board games.
These do look really good. I shouldn't have started scrolling through the individual pictures. Like, sheesh, dude, they look. I was telling you when I was down at the
Blade thing, I was like, dang it, looks amazing. Anyway, Adam, hey, what have you been playing that isn't miniatures?
Yeah. All right. So I've been playing some games. Trying to remember what I put up there. Oh, I played Star Trek Panic on Father's Day with my family.
How was that?
I like Star Trek. I mean, if you've played Castle Panic or Undead Panic, I think thematically and mechanically, it's my favorite of the Panic series, like from the original, like 3 or 4. Yeah, and I'm not like the biggest Star Trek guy. Like I tend to bend more Star Wars in my sci-fi fandom, or Battlestar, or I'm just, it's like a little bit down the trek of like space stuff that I like, but it's implemented super well. It's very similar tower defense co-op to what you would get with Castle Panic, except for one of the actions you get to take on your turn is to move the Enterprise. So you get to either rotate it one quadrant, or you get to move it forward, which is effectively just moving the enemies into different ranges by moving it, like thrusting it forward. So some of your missions that you might get, so rather than like defeat the boss like you did in Castle Panic, you'll have 5 missions and you're trying to get through all the missions, and some of them have a timer for a number of turns, or some of them have different win conditions and then bonuses for winning. So sometimes you need to like move up and rescue a derelict ship. So you have to push the ship forward. Then everyone has different weapon cards that only work in different zones, which is fairly similar to
Right, yeah.
Castle Panic. And then you can see the picture I got there. Like the ship takes different damage. So you
I
put
love the battle damage that the ship ends up taking. That was cool.
yeah, and you stick the little. It's just as simple as Castle Panic. It's got that little extra layer with the damage and the shields and the rotation of the board, which is just, as you know, rotating boards make things better, Roy.
In space.
In space. So I played it. I really, really liked it. I think me and my son liked it more than my wife and my daughter. They kind of like, they're like, can we just play an Exploding Kittens game next, please? They want something sillier, but me and my son had a good time with it. So big recommends. I don't know if it's still in print or not. I know it's kind of an older game at this point. I think it's 6-7 years old.
Did
Yeah,
you?
'cause they just came out with Castle Panic Second Edition, but I have seen it at some hobby stores over
Have
the
you
last.
seen the just gigantic Castle Panic box that's like the biggest board game box I've ever seen?
No, I haven't seen that.
They've got a version of Castle Panic that is just ludicrous. Like I think everything's
kidding.
plastic. There's
all
minis for
the
everything.
enemies are not tokens anymore.
I think you pull out a token and then you put like a mini.
Play a mini.
I don't think we even opened it. Like just because it's like Castle Panic is like literally it's like bigger than way bigger than Gloomhaven with this box of Castle Panic. Castle Panic. Anyway.
Yeah, hey, it's a great game. I think the thing about it that it's, I don't know, it's an easy co-op games are always fun because it's easy to convince people to play them because you can help them out. And the theme in this one, again, kind of on theme for our topic. The theme in this just really comes through good.
Did you boldly go where no one has gone before?
I did. I played as Mr. Spock. It was that's the other thing too. You get special abilities for each crew member of the Enterprise. So like Uhura and Scotty and Spock all do something different, and mostly just affects getting to draw cards or mitigate some damage. Or Scotty can like repair the shields for free without having to play cards and stuff. So I don't know. I'm a big fan. I haven't played it in a long time, and I was happy to kind of blow the dust off it. It was like on the bottom of one of my shelves.
It's awesome. You had another game on here, the Coup.
I threw Coup on there. We've been playing. I think I mentioned this in the podcast before, but at lunch at work, I work at a university here in Michigan. We have the World Series of Deception going on, where we're playing all deception and betrayal games every Thursday at lunch, and we have a little score table or a score sheet up on the wall in the break room, so we only play games where it's backstabs and hidden rolls and things like that. So we've been playing like Coup and Chameleon and Mongoose and Resistance and all that kind of stuff. So we played a bit of Coup. I have my version here. I have the metal tokens for the money, which I think costs more than the darn game. So if you if you want to theme up Coup, you buy a nice set of matte textured sleeves and some steel tokens, and you just spent 3 times the cost of like $9.99 Coup. But yeah, I mean, Coup's I think a classic. It's another one.
How many first round Barons did you have? Not everybody can be the Baron. Not everybody can be the Baron.
Oh, dude, we had this one guy that I played with. He had a couple of the best turns I've actually ever seen in this game when we played last week, and he managed to draw all 3 Contessas out of the deck in one go of the game. So like people kept trying to assassinate him or claim to assassinate him, and he kept claiming Contessa. We're like, you can't. At some point, he's lying, and he was getting so red faced that I did have an assassin. I'm like, I'm just going after. I'm calling BS on this, and it was like the 3rd time in a row that he was like defending with Contessa in one game. So it was just the wildest draw from the deck that I've ever seen. Just completely bulletproof, and he did win the game.
I have such a weird history with Coup because like the first time I played Coup was right after Love Letter had come out, and I was so obsessed with Love Letter, and I played Coup, and I'm like, it's not all that. I'd just rather play Love Letter. And then I kind of came back around and played Coup more, and I'm like, you know what? Coup is really good, and they're completely different games. I don't even know why I was comparing them in my head, just because they're small card games.
It's like that bit of speed hidden roll card game. Yeah,
but I love like the lying and the simplicity of Coup. It's solid.
Yeah, it's a great game, and it plays up to 6 people really quickly, I think,
Yeah.
too. So it's just one of those things. This one we play a lot at lunch, and then we play Lovecraft Letter. That's the H.P. Lovecraft
Mhm.
themed version of Love Letter,
Yeah.
which is the superior version out of all of them. I know there's 700
Hey, the Star
IPs.
Wars, the Job of the Hutt Star Wars one is pretty
Yeah,
good
yeah,
if you haven't played
that one's
it.
really good too. That would be my number 2. I have a bunch of them. I have Batman, and I've got like all of them because I'm an idiot, and every time I see one, I'm like, "Oh, Munchkin Loot Letter, I'll buy that." I need
should
more.
get a copy. I should get a copy of Coup because I feel like Ruthie would like playing it, and it's like super simple.
Yeah,
Honestly, I might just
great.
steal Works next time I have like a small game day.
They've probably got 10 of them there.
They strangely have a whole bunch of love letters, but I don't think they have multiple coups. They just have one coup, I'm pretty sure. But good.
So would you be starting a coup if you stole the Works coup?
They wouldn't notice.
They might know now.
They also. You think they listen to this, Adam? Heck no. Heck no.
There's some matriculation. Listen.
If they listen to this, I'm pretty sure I've said some stuff on here that should get me in trouble. So heck no, they don't listen to this. I so hope that Tom like pulls me aside and goes, "Hey Roy, I listened."
Oh, I heard.
I heard. I just haven't said anything yet. Oh my goodness. Anyway, hey Matt, what's your game?
Man, I played Rolling Heights.
Yeah, you did.
That looks
John
so
D.
good.
Clare.
It was,
Such a
and as soon as I had packed the game all back into the thing, I went, "Oh, I should have taken a picture for the podcast." But yeah, man, it was really good. This was like a Kickstarter that I picked up because John D. Clare does pretty good stuff.
Solid.
AAG does pretty good stuff, and the table presence
gorgeous.
was really what sold me. I was just like, "Oh, I get to build towers? Yes, please. This is great." And so I really didn't pay attention to what the rules were or how the game works during the Kickstarter. And I went into it, played it, and it was a good time. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just really simple engine building and rolling meeples and stacking cubes.
It looks so
Stack
good.
it up.
I was watching you guys play. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. Like, I'd get it just for the aesthetics alone. I love the tiles and how you put them down all randomly.
Yeah.
And building around this city, whether there's water or something around your city, or it's all the skyscraper areas all touching together. But man, when you guys, were throwing meeples on the board and trying to figure out what you're doing, I was like, what in the heck are they doing over there?
Yeah, man. It was a lot of fun, and I honestly can't wait to play it again. It was a really good time.
I want to play the second time. If you guys play again, I would love to play.
Oh, absolutely, man. Kent brought up something while we were playing, and he was saying that a lot of the icons people say are a little small and that sort of stuff. And if you knock a tower over, there's like nothing that holds it in place, so it just demolishes everything. It's just like a kid running into a rampage board. But having played it, yeah, I would say that's sort of my complaint is like if they came out with like a bigger version that was like just 50% bigger to see some of the icons, or maybe build the tower out of Lego or something that will like hold. I don't know, but it's a solid game that's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right, Rob, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on this game because I know you were looking forward to it. Stranger Things.
Man, I've played a lot. Before I get to Stranger Things, I played Catan for the first time ever. Really enjoyed it.
You never played Catan before?
I've never played Catan. Played Catan, loved Catan. My daughter loves Catan. She wants to play even more. Played Project L. Oh my gosh, probably a new family favorite.
That's awesome. I'm glad you played that.
We played Project L like 5 times, and then my wife went to Arkansas and took it with her, and her family played about every night. And their only problem was it doesn't have an expansion. Like they wanted to play more people. So love Project L.
That's awesome.
Like Catan, had a really good time with Catan. But then I was super excited for Stranger Things. That is my table, but I forgot to take a picture of the box. So then there's the Google image of the Stranger Things box. Stranger Things is a board game. It is a 1 through 4 player game created by Rob Davio. It is super thematic for the IP. Like it works. You start. It's a complete co-op game. You start in Hawkins, and you are trying to rescue Will. The board is actually dual-sided. This side that we're seeing here is season 1. The other side is season 2. And what's cool in season 2 is like it has vines and stuff that will spread up into Hawkins, so it plays a little bit differently. But you pick from one of 6 characters. You cannot pick L out of the base box, but I did hear that Simon released on their website where you could print off like a PDF to be able to play as L if you wanted to play as L. The game is a lot of fun. It reminded me of a meatier, beefier version of Horrified. Like I really liked Horrified.
I've heard people say that. Yeah,
that's not a bad thing. I like Horrified a lot.
Yeah, I think it's fun. It's not super hard. It's not like we were able to win, but I was playing with myself, Dustin, Leo. I think it was just us 3. Myself, Dustin, Leo.
Me and Hector showed up after y'all had already started.
Yeah, we had, so like my wife, like I was saying, they went to Arkansas and I had like a free Saturday. And so I just sent out this mass text, impromptu game weekend, whoever wants to come to my house. I had people come all throughout the day. And what's really fun is I had some clients of mine also come throughout the day. So all the food and everything I'm going to write off for tax purposes.
Boom.
So I was just like, hey man, whoever wants to come over, my wife's gone, just come over and play games. But it worked out really well. You were trying to, what I really liked about the game is if you're looking at the picture, those tokens that are on the bottom, if you'll notice on the upper half of the board where Hawkins is, the top token, you'll see this red token, it's got a number written on it. On the bottom token, they're not written on there. So you are trying to go out there and figure out what numbers. You're trying to collect cards in your hands to be able to beat the numbers that are on these tokens. And if you don't beat the numbers, you're going to take points and damage or fear. The game calls your damage fear, the equivalent to the difference. Also, on the bottom areas where you're rescuing Will, there are 5, oh my gosh, the big bad beast. Demogorgon. Yeah, there are 5 Demogorgon tokens. And if you look to the left of the board on the upside down spot, right now you can see 4 stacks of tokens and then 4 more blank ones. The Demogorgon's health, when you're going through those stacks, is equal to the amount of stacks that are there. And those stacks can grow. I think at one point we had 6 stacks there. So that means every time you pull over a Demogorgon chip, that's 6 plus. And I think on our very third one, our last stack to rescue Will, 3 of the Demogorgon chips were in there.
Holy
so like
smokes.
You had to be like super buff. Now we were able to knock down some of those stuff by doing some using some of 11's powers and knocking some of those down. So they didn't hit for 6 each time.
Nice.
But the game is a lot of fun. It is a hand management game. You can only have so many cards in your hand. The game ends when either one person reaches fear, the game immediately ends, or you get these action cards. Once you cycle through the action deck for the third and final, or the third time, then that's your countdown. If you cycle through it through a 4th time, you automatically lose. You basically have like 3 cycles to be able to get through the action cards and beat the game. And the action cards are how you do your movement. They're how you try to get allies. They're how you do a bunch of different things. So whether you want to or not, you have to use a lot of action cards per turn to be able to move along the board. It was a lot of fun. Lloyd Fox, if you're listening to this, bro, it was worth it. I think it was definitely worth the $40. I'm also excited because I feel like they could easily add expansions. I feel like they could easily add more allies, or they could change things up, or they could add a season 3 and a season 4 and make things a little bit bigger. I'm heartbroken because I get why it's not a Kickstarter, but man, I could just think if this was a Kickstarter and all the components and everything that they would do with the Stranger Things IP, thought it would be a lot of fun. But anyway, Stranger Things, the board game, a lot of fun, 1 through 4 players. It's not very hard, and it's complete co-op. My wife wants to play. I'm excited to be able to play with her now that they got back in last night. So I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of Horrified, and if you're a fan of the IP, you should really enjoy Stranger Things.
Yeah,
and
I
get
should
2
try
games
this.
in 1.
Ruthie really likes Stranger Things, and we both like cooperative games, so I bet this game would go over really well if we were able to get it to the table.
Yeah, you kind of sold it to me. Me and my daughter like Horrified, and we like Stranger Things a ton, so I might have just put that in my Amazon cart.
People at the office said it was good, but I don't necessarily trust them as much as Rob. So there
you go. There you go. Know your reviewers.
I don't know if it'd be worth the $40.
Well, it is specifically like I know Rob's taste in games, and I know their taste in games. I'm like, sometimes we don't align. So I'm like, me and Rob, I can see how excited Rob is about it. I'm like, oh, it might be fun. You know?
I'm excited to play season 2. I haven't played season 2 yet, but it's different enough. Where I was reading the rules, Rodney did a watch it played video on it,
cool.
And so that helps a lot. But they were talking about season 2, how you have the vines and how the different things grow. It seemed fun, and it seemed like a lot potential replayability is up there because all of those tokens and stuff are random. So it's going to be difficult, but it was fun. I think you like it.
Well, if you need another review option, Dustin looked like he was having a great time playing it. So, if Dustin's showing emotion, it's a good game.
Yeah.
Oh, Dustin was like excited playing it. Huh?
Yeah, he actually like cracked a smile twice.
Oh, get out!
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is Dustin's happy face. This is Dustin's angry face.
It makes him great at social
it's
deduction.
Strange. I wonder. Maybe I know Dustin differently than you guys. I guess maybe just because he's not as open with. I don't know. I've known him since he was a kid, though, so it's very different.
Yeah,
I don't find him to be particularly closed. I think he's just like expression-wise, he's stoic. Yeah. Like if you ask him about something, it's not like he withholds. He'll be like, "Oh, I feel like this or feel like that."
I just always have these crazy memories of him acting goofy while playing role-playing games with my dad.
Oh, he's in chat.
When we were like kids, like my bones are crazy. My bones are crazy. That's all I remember.
I was defending you, Dustin. He's just got a great calmness about him. I didn't want it to sound like we were calling him a. Listen, is he a serial killer? Maybe. Who knows?
As everybody was leaving, Dustin was one of the last people to leave. And I said, "Man, I'm so glad you came. I had such a great time. Thank you so much." He said, "Yeah, thanks for having me." And I was like, I have to keep inviting you, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, why is that?" I was like, "Because I'm afraid if I don't, you'll come one day uninvited, and it'll be the last." And so he's like, "Yeah, it's security, basically." So I was like, "Yeah, you're always invited. If I'm doing something, please just don't hurt me. Please take some extra guacamole home."
I ended up. He must have really wanted to beat you at Redemption because I ended up getting a bunch of texts like asking questions. I'm like, dude, I haven't played Redemption in a decade. Like, I hope I'm answering right.
I think you're wrong. I've never played where that New Jerusalem card could be played on somebody else's.
It definitely has. It definitely was in the past. My thing is, I haven't played Redemption in so long.
Justin had brought out the second ever rule book, and they got all like we had so much fun playing that game, just bringing back a lot of memories, and that was a great time playing Redemption. And so I'm playing Redemption as I'm watching them play Rolling Heights, which looked great as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Redemption, the card art and everything, the words are so small and so cheesy. It was such a fun game, and it was a good time. Dustin, thank you so much for
Dustin used to constantly beat me in Redemption all the time.
Yeah, he told us.
Every single time we played, he would always beat me. And then we turned 10, and then I'm just kidding. And things changed. No, I'm just kidding.
And your gamer powers activated.
And Dustin really is a saint because he's a person who like chooses his words carefully and then sits in a room with me and Rob. And we're just like yelling at each other from 8 feet away, and Dustin's like listening to us. Dude, like
that also scares me because when he says something, he means it because he chooses his words carefully.
He could be a therapist or something though. Really, he'd be good at it. He'd be like, "Okay, I hear you," and we're just like, "Really, it was great."
He's pretty goofy sometimes. It's okay.
But
you just gotta.
I had a great time. I think my second thing, and I'll run through this really quickly. D&D. They met the Toy Maker.
You're still playing that?
Killed a bunch of people. Yeah, we're still playing D&D, having a blast.
You're never not playing D&D.
Do more. Sammy's character, I don't think she killed. Oh, she didn't kill any children. She just sacrificed the rest of William's family.
Are you serious?
Yes.
What?
She summoned them up because the Toy Maker was attacking people. And the Toy Maker, he was this bad villain I created for this scenario. And he wanted souls. He was debt for souls, or debt for lives. And so with one of their things that I created for them, she went back to the village, grabbed Thule's mom, William's mom, and grabbed William's dad, brought them to the Toy Maker, and then also sacrificed Thule. And so she released herself from the curse because the person that had the curse on her, all of them were just obliterated by the toy maker. I never thought that was going to happen. I never intended for that to happen, but she's like, okay, you need souls? I'll bring these people. And so it's sort of like a good and bad thing because now she's not immortal. But yeah, she's just on a rampage, killing all the
Sammy's character is literally the villain of the campaign.
Yeah. She's actually the villain of the campaign.
Literally the villain.
And then we played Blood Rage. And then I taught her how to play Blood Rage because her and her husband came by. Like I said, Saturday, I had people, like they came in for one game and then they left.
She should be great at the Loki strategy because she's all about sacrificing stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was a great time. It was
Rob,
a great time.
if that character dies, you have to make it come back as a lich. Like
100%. Okay.
I'm gonna do something. Sammy and I have got some talks about some ideas for that character and other things like that. But had a blast. Dungeons and Dragons. I think we're gonna try to get in another session at the end of the month. But like I said, man, I played a ton of games. We also played War of Whispers again. Which was a blast. They played Dune with the big box edition with the
that's awesome.
the expansions and stuff. So
got smoked in that game.
But see, I'm thankful that you got smoked because you got smoked again by one of my clients. So that's a whole write-off. So we're writing it off. So Dave, you're great, man. Come beat us. Oh no, will you please buy this house? Dave and his wife, they're great people. You and I, we played Nemesis with them in the past.
Yeah.
As well. Dave's like a Kent. I gave him Nemesis. I said, I don't know how to play, set it up. And we went to his house. It was all set up, and he knew all the rules. So, good times.
Oh, that's amazing. I guess I'll talk about my thing. I played some Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, Magic the Gathering at the pre-release. I went to Cool Stuff down here. Cool Stuff isn't very good for board games, but they do Magic pretty well. So we had a Magic tournament. Oh, you ended up getting some? What? So I ended up doing the pre-release, and basically the pre-release is where they give you the sealed box of packs, and I got basically, I think it's like 6 booster packs in there, and you build a deck with those 6 packs, and you play games against people. We played, I guess, 4 rounds, and each round you win, you get another pack that you can basically have, or whatever, you just get as prize support. So I ended up winning 3 of my games and tying 1 of them. So I technically never lost. And also that game that I tied, we rolled a die to see who got the free pack, and he got the free pack or whatever. So I could have gotten all 4 of my free packs if I would have won a die roll. I rolled a 1 on a d20, so that felt great. Because we're like, okay, let's roll off for it. So I roll the d20 and roll a 1. I'm like, well, do you need to roll? I mean, come on. You have like 19 out of 20 chance to win this pack right now. The thing that sucks is I was smoking him in those games too, and he just barely eked out a tie. Anyway, but yeah, the Lord of the Rings stuff is pretty cool. It has this ring tempts you mechanic. It has a lot of like mechanics for food for the little hobbits, and a bunch of different stuff with the ring going around and like helping different people out. It just has a lot of the lore for Lord of the Rings, which is pretty cool. A lot of the cards have some different flavor that give you that like Lord of the Rings feeling, and the art is phenomenal for everything. I really enjoy it. Like, it just looks so good. I wish I could afford more. Like, Magic is just too expensive. But after the set's out for a while, I might end up buying like a common set and try to make like a little common cube or something like that, just because the cards are so cool and fun to play with. What did you get with it, Rob? Did you play around with it much, or? I
haven't played around with it yet. I love the art and I love Lord of the Rings. That my buddy Leo, he's a big Magic the Gathering fan, and he told me that there were some House of Cards here in Winston-Salem was doing a pre-release event. So I went I think it went on Monday after their big event, and they had a couple of pre-releases kits left over. I'm probably, if I do anything with Magic, I'll probably just do like a commander deck, and I'll do all just Lord of the Rings stuff, because Lord of the Rings is expensive. Because that's the problem. As soon as I bought that, I then bought some other boosters, and I was like, oh my god, I can't do this. Like, I have to, like, I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
Did you get to play it at all much, or?
No, not yet. Not yet. But like the itch, like I've already, since then I've downloaded the app. I've done the different things. Like, it's not good, so I'm trying to put it away. It's like the Ring. It's tempting me right now.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I don't need to get into something else.
Well, my thing is I'm too broke to be tempted, so
oh,
I got my pre-release pack. I studied all the cards. I got my pre-release pack, and I won my 3 packs. I'm like, yes, I won 3 free packs technically, and that's all I can really do.
Don't get me wrong. I don't make a lot of money. I just
you just have impulse control issues.
My wife was not here, and so it's just one of those things that asks for forgiveness rather than permission.
Hey, if you want to do one of those like you used to do ashes over Skype, if you want to build a little deck and do a Magic over Skype, I'll play a game with you.
I've played Magic in like 10 years. Anybody could beat Scotty. Violet.
Well, I'll set you up. I'll have Scotty play against you, and we'll put that to the test.
I barely beat the tutorial on Magic the Gathering app last time. Yeah, the Arena app for Magic the Gathering, I barely beat the tutorial.
I play the Arena app. The problem is I don't know the cards, and oh my goodness, they flash up on the screen so fast. And I play on my phone, and I'm just like, how can I read the cards? I just have issues.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't read any of the cards really. I just play stuff, and then I still win a bunch of games just because
I downloaded it just so I
make okay decisions with the cards I can read.
Yeah.
But it looks great. The art is amazing. I love the lands too. Not all the packs had the lands, but some of the lands, it had the map of Middle Earth.
I wish I could get a full set of like just the map,
just lands. Yeah, the map. Yeah.
And then build a bunch. I went 3-3-0-1. So I won 3 games. I lost 0 games, and I drew 1 game. But technically, we rolled a die for that game that I drew. So therefore, I lost. So he got the pack. So technically, I lost on a die roll, but it didn't really count.
I did lose any games. A Lord of the Rings Commander deck. That's what Leo's telling me to do too. Because like if you do Commander, you can play with that forever and just have that one fun thing.
I like Commander, but the games in Commander are so long. Like
how long ago?
You play with 40 life. You have a 100 card deck that has one of each card in it. They're fun, but they're a commitment. You have to be with people that want to play for a long time. Yeah. I kind of enjoy the regular short Magic games a little bit more just because.
That's the problem though, because then you're going to be constantly spending money to do those things because there's always that new card or the tournaments where they only accept so many packs.
That's the problem with getting into Magic seriously at all.
Yeah, I can't either.
The Commander can be just as bad if you're like, cool, I'm playing Commander with people. Yeah, but my deck would be a little bit better with this one card.
I just want to do the Lord of the Rings theme. Like my Commander deck would just be Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I can't say too much too loudly because they are home. My wife and daughter are home.
I won't even look at it if it makes you feel better, Rob. I'm so afraid of how much I want all that Lord of the Rings art.
Adam, it's gorgeous. So that's the problem. All of my cards look amazing. I love the text. I love the way it looks, and it scratches that LCG
oh my God.
itch, and I'm just like, man, should I get back into this? Because before I moved here, I got pretty not huge into Magic, but I was spending like a few $100s on like certain decks. Like
the reason I quit Magic was I used to play with Ryan all the time. Ryan Ortiz, which is part of our game group, constantly. We always went to Friday Night Magic all the time. And they were like cooling on a little bit, and I was still going, and I could win the game, but there was set rotation that happened, and I had built a deck that was good, it was solid, but I needed a card that was like $50.
Yeah, for one card.
And I needed a playset of it, so I needed 4 of them. So I'm like, do I drop $200 to make my deck amazing so I'm winning everything again, or do I quit?
and
because my friends were
right.
Say what? Yeah, and then your deck's only amazing for like another couple years, like like 2 years or something like that, or a year,
Yeah.
And then it rotates out again. Because my deck before that, I could go to 80 player tournaments and like win, and then it rotated out. So, and it's cool. It feels great to be like, I bought all these cards and I have this deck and I'm winning free cards because I'm winning tournaments, but then it just sucks. It sucks to like have all that
we have very different experiences because I would go to 80 player tournaments and participate.
Yeah, well, that's
yeah, me too.
I would win. I remember one time, I bought this deck. It was like a $300 deck, and it was like aggro red. And I won my first 2 games against children that had just hit 10 years old each, and I beat them. And then I finally played against this player who knew what he was doing. Not that the kids don't know what they were doing. It's just these kids were like brand new like me. And and then I played against somebody who knew what they're doing, and the rest of the tournament just got wrecked. But my 2 wins put me up there, like on the upper echelon. And then once, I just got wrecked, and I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. I don't need to do this anymore. This is terrible. I'm bad at games.
One of the fun thing is Magic players sometimes, not the nicest people. Like people that take it seriously.
What?
Like I try to joke with people a lot of times or try to play around. Nah, son. We're not here to play around. Okay, sorry.
We're playing card games, bro. This is serious business.
Yeah.
Me and my friends, we would play like with my friend Greg and Ryan and stuff. We'd play a ton and we'd always be goofy and we play Commander and a bunch of stuff. But sometimes we play against people and they were just not nice. Like they'd be mad at us for winning or threaten to flip the table on us and all sorts of stuff. And we'd be like, okay, we're just gonna stay away from those people. And they were always there. It's just weird.
See, I would love for somebody to threaten to flip the table on me because I'm like, look, my arms are bigger. I'll be able to collect more of your cards than you'll be able to collect of my cards once we get on the ground. Like, I'll sit on top of you. You're not going anywhere.
Listen,
and I'll
some
just
Magic
collect.
players, you really don't want them to lift their arms up. That is where you don't want to be.
Yeah, that's a whole other problem.
It is a whole man.
Anyway,
Look at
that's
picture
rude to say.
he has on there. That's
I mean, dude, it's not Magic Night at any comic book store is a little stinky. Listen,
It does suck for real though, because I'm like, I never do this. I haven't been to a Magic event in forever. I'm gonna go to this Magic event and I'm gonna do this Lord of the Rings thing. So I went and I took the kids, and Ruthie was gonna get off work and come pick them up from me. And like I was there, I was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna do my Magic thing. And Ruthie came in, she's like, what is that smell? And I'm like,
Magic people.
I was like, listen, okay. Hygiene might not be everyone here's strong suit. They really should get it under control. Yes, it's bad. And you look around and there's no females there at all. And you wonder why. Maybe it's because people aren't showering. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, it isn't what it is. Somebody needs to, but the stores can take a little bit into that into control too, being like, hey, we have hygiene rules, we have all this stuff, but I'm sure it is hard to do at a pre-release where everybody might not be regulars, I don't know. But yeah, good times. Way to bring that down.
Stinky Magic player.
Magic the Gathering is fantastic. I love Lord of the Rings. Man, nerd smell. Okay.
It is kind of embarrassing to be like, hey, I'm going to this thing. I'm going to go win this tournament. And then people smell.
I just still love that guy who got kicked out of that con for taking pictures of all the butt cracks. It's like, I
love that still, though.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's amazing. And
I don't think
that's what you're getting yourself into when you go to those events.
Hey, legend.
That is also one of the reasons why I buy extra long T-shirts now, because I have a fear like one day somebody's going to see a part of me that they didn't ask for, and a part that makes my wife cry as well. So let's just cover that up so nobody has to see that.
You're beautiful, baby. It's okay.
Oh, man.
On the inside.
Oh boy.
Anyway, let's go to our topic of the week.
Man, this has got such old podcast vibes.
To get rid of Kent Courtney, the parents, for one episode, we have a good time, bro.
It's off the rails. Oh man,
it's so funny that that Kent and Courtney are the parents of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm sort of glad that Ruthie's not on as much, because I think her and I, if we hung out more together, I would really like Ruthie, and I don't think we would be good influences for each other.
Violence might occur.
Yeah, I think we would just like go crazy off these tandems. Like I definitely want to hang out with you guys more, but I really like Ruthie. Like I think okay, Ruthie could hang out with us and we just go crazy. Kent Courtney try to reel us back in, come back into reality, But if Ruthie was in this show right now, two people would probably be hurt emotionally.
It is funny because sometimes she's shy here on the show and worried about what to say about the games, but sometimes when we're playing games, it's ah! it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Spiky Dastards with Ruthie is a whole different thing.
Oh, she got the hammer fist going.
She will wreck you, guaranteed.
I dropped my copy last week and I went to go pick them up. Man, those things suck. When you're not paying attention, you just, it fell behind a bookshelf and I stuck my hand back there.
Could you imagine Kent and Courtney playing Spiky Dastards? Have they played?
I don't think they own it.
Oh, I could
see
see that
Kent
getting
being
pretty
like,
intense. So I think they do it.
You think they would?
Yeah, I think they. I mean,
They would definitely play, but
They would definitely play.
it would be a whole different thing. It wouldn't be nearly as violent. It would be as violent. It just wouldn't be.
I'm breaking it out for my daughter's birthday party next month. I'm like, we're breaking out Spiky Dastards for all the 14-year-old girls. It's gonna be great.
That would be good. A lot of screaming. Oh my gosh! You should play Happy Salmon with them.
I probably will get. My daughter's been really getting into the chaotic games. Like she likes just really chaotic stuff. So,
First time I ever played, busted Roy's son's lip, Scotty, with my hip going across on a switcheroo. And I knew it was a great game because not even Roy stopped. He was like, Scotty, you're fine.
You're okay, man.
We finished the round, and then Roy goes up to Scotty. Are you okay?
I need to make Ruthie play Happy Salmon because that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Exploding Kittens owns that one now too, I think. So
like she loves those like real time games. She loves 5 Minute Marvel, like that's like top of the list, you know.
5 Minute Marvel's dope. I like that.
She loved Project Elite. I was wanting to teach her for the longest time, and we played at Dice Tower West. She loved Project Elite, so that's good stuff. Real time craziness. Anyway, speaking of craziness and blowing things up, Amertrash is the topic of the week. Adam suggested this one. This is like the trashiest of Amertrash games. He said, while the parents aren't on the podcast, we're going to talk about Amertrash. Hey, what was your idea for this topic, Adam?
Well, I figured since Kent wasn't here and I didn't want him to have to pick a game that the theme matters more than the mechanics by far. Because I was thinking about because I know the three of you for sure are in this boat with me, where there are some games where like it's questionable whether it's worth playing them correctly, and it's questionable whether it's worth learning to set them up or play them, because the point of the game is just to drive you through this experience. And there's my webcam went. So for me, we were texting about this, and I told Rob I wasn't gonna tell him. There's like a few of these that really stand out personally, and then there's one that's penultimate for me. And to me, the penultimate version of this, and it's not that fiddly of a game, but it's a pretty basic game that's relying on you to have crazy shit kind of ruin the way the game's flowing, and that's Cosmic Encounter. I think it's the ultimate kind of Ameritrash game where it's like, at its root, it's like, draw some cards, decide whether you're going to negotiate or fight. Maybe you both agree, maybe one of you gets betrayed, get other people on your boards, and oh, by the way, if you own a couple of the expansions, there's 75 different alien races. Most of the powers are unbalanced and will break the game.
Yeah.
And it has no regard for fairness, no regard for luck mitigation. But man, have you ever had a bad time playing Cosmic Encounter? It really feels like we're a bunch of aliens with crazy powers and we have to somehow commingle. But oh, by the way, we all want to be in charge.
I love the one alien power where you get to steal cards. Like,
yes!
Dude, just straight up steal cards from the middle, like if no one's paying attention.
There was one game that I played with that, like the one that lets you cheat, and it was, I felt bad. I felt really bad. I played afterwards. I felt really bad because people would be like, "Oh, I play this card." I would literally go through the discard pile, get a card to counter it, and then play it right in front of people, and they didn't realize what I was doing. And then afterwards, I was like, "Guys, I just kind of cheated the whole game because my card said I could." It was just really weird.
Yeah, to me that game is just great because it flies in the face of being prepared for how you're going to play it. Because you might think, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to align with somebody, and then when those alien race cards come out, particularly if you've got, because I have I think almost all the expansions, if you just deal those suckers out, like I usually just deal people two and pick one. Here's your two, pick one. And there's so many that I can't even remember them. They come out and I'm like, I totally forgot, or I've never even seen that one in play yet. And there's something about it that is just so wildly satisfying to me. I don't know, man. It's one of those games where
it really is.
It is, and it's not hard to teach. There's other games that my other big game in that category, and not because I don't want to steal anyone else's, I don't think you all will say this one, is Last Night on Earth, which is a Flying Frogs game, which is
for sure, with the people on the cover, like the regular people.
Yeah, it's got like all the campy 90s horror trope photography.
Does your family play that at least once a year?
Yeah, we used to play it on Christmas Eve. It was our Christmas Eve game.
That's awesome.
And it's ridiculous game. It's roll to move, which is thematic because it's like you're running, you're tripping, you don't know, the zombies are shambling. Like there's a deck of things that you're searching for, and then there's a zombie powers deck. It just ramps one way sometimes, another way another times. The searching is completely random. On the surface, it feels like another zombie co-op game, but then since some people are playing as zombies and some people are playing as the people, I don't know. The theme is just very good. The powers feel cool. The characters are hilarious. But you're in it for the ride, not necessarily to say that you're a better player than anybody. There's no version of playing that game where you're like, oh, I gamed it. No, you didn't. Yeah. So those are my two big ones, and I have I would love to hear what you all think as far as that kind of stuff goes. But I just at any time, if anybody was like, let's play Last Night on Earth, mine are painted. I have all the sets. I'm ready to go. It's a garbage game that's gonna break your heart, and I'm gonna love it. Like
I've never played it. I would love to play with you. I've never.
Yeah, we should.
Love to play with you.
I think the one you said, like in the text messages, and people have said it in chat, the Betrayal at House on the Hill is kind of like the quintessential of like, oh, this is trashy trash, Amertrash or whatever. It's like it's broken sometimes. It's dice rolling and chucking. It's randomness, and like sometimes it's just crazy zany stuff, and people can kind of break the game in weird ways. You can just go work out all game and not actually finish the quest.
Hey man, look, I got to get buff in some reality.
You're like, I'm gonna role play this out. I'm like, but no, we're gonna die. But yeah, it's just like weird pick up and deliver stuff in that game too. It's like, go over to this room and pick up this item and move it to that room and drop that item. You know, there's a lot of that in the game, but it's just like this weird tile exploration stuff. Betrayal at House on the Hill is like so trashy, Ameritrash, and it's just fun. I mean, because you were talking about games that can kind of feel a little bit broken sometimes, but can still work out fun. You know.
Yep.
Oh, that game is definitely broken.
Oh yeah, you whether you can win or lose at the moment of the haunt is like sometimes just almost predetermined.
Right.
Like somebody, either the survivors or the betrayer, like can be completely set up, and there's no way to ever really know how it's gonna happen. Like so sometimes it's just a massacre. It's like now we're just role playing out everyone dying. Like it's just
yeah. Man, I don't know. It's such a good game. It's such a. I mean, it's not good. Like quality.
No, it's not a good game.
It's because, like you're saying,
played Baldur's Gate yet?
Yeah, I have that
Baldur's
one
Gate
too.
one, yeah, I've played it.
Yeah.
I haven't played that. Well, how does that compare?
It's the same.
It's similar, but you can end up with like cooperative scenarios as well sometimes, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's like I don't know, maybe 25 or 30%. A lot more of them don't have like somebody turning into a betrayer.
Yeah. I
Maybe
played the
it's 15%.
Scooby-Doo one with my kids a bunch, and it's actually pretty fun, you know. It's just very much like Betrayal at the House on the Hill, but like it's more generated towards kids and has the Scooby-Doo theme on it.
That's nice. That'll make them some money, but the Mystery Time Machine on there. For me, I think those are good choices. And for me, though, it's got to be Zombicide. Or especially like a homebrew Zombicide, where I've done that, where I've used every tile and and I've used every single plastic mini, where I've literally had over close to 300 pieces of plastic on the board at one time. I just love it, and we just make up our own rules, you know, because like there really is, you can play the Zombicide rules, and it's also broken if you play the normal way, because depending on, I think we played at your house one time, Roy, and we would shuffle the deck, and we just kept drawing the big berserker zombies every time. Like it didn't matter what happened, and from the get-go, we're dead.
You're like, you know what? We don't have the items to kill this, so I guess it kills us.
Yeah, and we were like stuck in a corner. It's just I love that game. I love all that it has to offer. To me, it's the quintessential button smashing board game / video game, where you just run around and. I've got more non-gamers, like my wife. She loves Zombicide. We have a great time with Zombicide. I would also say, yeah, Betrayal House on the Hill and Cosmic Encounter are, I think they're better Ameritrash, but for something that wasn't said. And also now it's time to take your medicine.
It's time to charge my car, is what that was.
Oh, okay.
I have an alarm for that.
Yeah, see, you can't afford Magic because you have to charge your car. My car is 1 year away from being an antique, so I can.
Charging the car doesn't cost much at all. It's
no, just paying for that car, bro.
Yes, yeah.
I've got like a old car. Anyway, Zombicide, and I prefer Zombicide Black Plague, but I'm really excited for White Death. I think White Death is gonna be my new favorite. So, but let me ask you this: is Blood Rage also Ameritrash?
No, it's a Euro game.
It is not a Euro game.
It's about victory. It's about victory points and controlling your areas and getting those victory points.
There's people who would call it that. I think anytime
it's got
dudes on a map.
quests. You know what I mean? If it didn't have quests,
the draft is so much fun. That was one thing with Nick and Sammy. I was teaching them the game, and I kept passing on good cards, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys have no idea what you're doing." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "I just gave you these great cards, and they've come back to me. But these cards should not come back to me."
I think there's quite a bit of strategy in Blood Rage, like almost too much for it to be an Ameritrash game.
Yeah. For me, the Ameritrash game that like just recently came out that it just gives me that quintessential Ameritrash feel is Thunder Road. Like the fact that you're just chucking, it's roll to move. You're chucking dice and things are blowing up everywhere. Like it's insane, and it's just that. I mean, it's an old school game that's like been redone, but like the fact that like they kept that just trashy, like blow each other up, just randomly. You roll a die to randomly see which direction you get bumped into, and you can just fly off the map and die. You know, it's so trashy, but it's so fun. I love Thunder Road, and I need to get myself a copy of it because it's amazing.
My copy came in. I can't find the 5th and 6th player expansion. Everywhere is like sold out right now. And it was one of those games that I ordered while my wife was gone. And one of the first things she said is, "So you ordered some stuff?" And I said, "Hold on, babe. Listen. We love Downforce, right? And your dad loves to hunt, and you know they like to be like a little physical and stuff. Well, I got Downforce, but with guns, and we can kill each other. I promise. You know, I'm gonna bring it if we see them again for like Christmas and something like that." So she's kind of like, "Okay, that one." She sort of excuses, and she still loves Project L so much so like I have like a little bit of grace. But I'm super excited for Thunder Road, and I need to get the expansion before we go back to Arkansas to play with them. But that looks amazing. It's not on my list because I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I definitely recommend people play that.
All right, and the quality and stuff too. Like I already opened up the minis and all the little things. Restoration Games, man.
For sure,
killing it. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, man. I don't know, like. Because for me, honestly, Roy already said it. It's Betrayal. Like that's the one that is like my top tier Amertrash game. It's still one of my top 10 games. It's not great, but it is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Betrayal at House on the Hill is the game that convinced you to come over and play games for the first time. Because I remember you being like, "Oh yeah, I've watched a little bit of tabletop." Like they play Betrayal and stuff like that. I'm like, I have that game, Matt. You could be playing that game, like actually playing it.
Well, see, like that was the thing. It was like I at the very beginning was just watching tabletop. I didn't know anybody who had board games. But like one of my like video game friends was like, "You might like this thing that's happening," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and checked it out. And it was like a lot of the games seemed fun, but they also seemed like a little bit puzzly, a little bit mathy. And Betrayal was just like, "Oh no, this I can totally get down with whatever this is. This is crazy. This is a good time," and it's pretty much never not been because I feel like even those times where it's just kind of busted, it's just like, "Oh well." That's Betrayal. Anyway.
Betrayal at House on the Hill is one of those games where, like, as you play with more gamers, you start to be, like, kind of embarrassed of it. But then when you get back into a group or have a group of new people to gaming, it's like, I kind of wish I had a copy so that I could play with all of Ruthie's friends because they won't turn up their nose.
So,
they'll just have fun.
Betrayal House on the Hill is not the girl you bring home to your parents, but it's the girl you leave your girlfriend for at prom.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, mom and dad, take my picture with, little Susie, but once I get to the prom, me and Veronica are going to be dancing.
Sorry to everybody named Veronica.
No,
Veronica knows what she did.
And
Come
listen,
on.
You're not a side chick, Veronica. You're number one. You're number one in our hearts.
I have no clue where this podcast has gone. We need the parents back. No, I'm just kidding.
I was even thinking about like games like and I mean it's still an Amertrash game, but like even before second edition is Mansions of Madness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I thought first edition too, because I'm just like it can kind of be broken sometimes.
Yeah, first edition of it, especially when you had to like spend all that time setting it up, and someone had to be the keeper, and it was just like
take that quiz before the game.
Yeah, it was kind of a nightmare. But the theme was so good. I mean, in Descent was the same thing. These games that now run a lot better, I think, off of apps like Descent and Mansions of Madness hit me. Like those are both games that I really liked. The old versions of too, but like it was like you were kind of slogging through the game parts not working that well. It's still a luck-driven kind of like thematic experience. They just aren't as fiddly with the apps, which is like. High Awakened Realms. Is there an app for that Stalker game by any chance? Because
yeah.
Is there?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. They need it. They need apps really bad because that would help that kind of stuff out.
Speaking of apps, they did talk about the app soon to be working for Nemesis for Awakened Realms. And on a side note, Roy, Jaws of the Lion does have a mini pack.
Please don't tell me that. You could have just not told me.
Yeah, no, it does. It has, and you can buy the mini pack separately.
Oh, there you go.
Why would you tell me that?
Yeah, if you go to their page and you go Miniatures of Gloomhaven, it'll show you all that they have and all the packs you can buy individually. I think it comes with like 60-something miniatures.
That's awesome.
No, 47. It comes with 47 Jaws of the Lion.
I'm just gonna take my headphones off now. One of the ones I mentioned in the text group as well is Arkham Horror. I guess Eldritch Horror can kind of be slightly lumped in with that. It's just a wacky
I think both
game,
of them.
Because it's like so dependent on crazy dice rolls. I mean, you're doing all these different skill checks, and sometimes you can just be lost in space for who knows how many turns.
Yeah,
it's just so crazy off the walls with stuff. But I remember playing we played Arkham Horror 2nd Edition with everything once, and it's just insane to play with so much stuff, and it just gets really off the rails when you're playing with so many things and collecting all these different cards and little dollar tokens and stuff. It's just a lot of fun to play.
I feel like
it definitely has that trash feel to it.
Those are both great games too, like Arkham and Eldritch Horror I really like, but if it feels a little bit like the Genesis, or like not the Genesis, the evolution of those games rather, is sort of like Horrified, or what sounds like Stranger Things are, because it's kind of a similar game. You have that countdown going for like whatever the big evil's move is, and you're kind of going to these kind of larger regions. You're not really hopping a map like space. And those, like Horrified is definitely an Ameritrash game, but it's like kind of that Eldritch Horror thing, but it's like tightened up. I would love to see like Eldritch Horror, Arkham Horror like reprinted and kind of tightened up to the playtime of like a Horrified or something. Like that would be really cool. Like get some actual minis in there, kind of like maybe just kind of tighten up the box a little. I like that globe-trotting event. Wait, Eldritch is the girl.
Eldritch is the one that's
right? And then Arkham's
yeah.
Like it would be cool to have something like that where it's tightened up a little bit more, because that was, if I recall, I haven't played them in a while. I have them both, or some versions of them both over here.
I am interested in the new Marvel Dagger game, because I think it's supposed to be kind of like Eldritch Horror-ish or whatever, but it's Marvel themed.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. It's a cooperative Marvel game. I haven't seen too much about it, but I need to look more into it. But it looks like kind of like Arkham or Eldritch Horror Marvel, So
it's so hard to like keep up.
It's so hard
with
to
all
gauge current Fantasy Flight stuff, and I don't necessarily trust current Fantasy Flight stuff, but I'm hopeful that it'll be at least decent. I don't know. We'll see.
I love that it already has a complexity rating on BGG. Like, who's played this yet?
They showed a live stream of it, and I tried to skim it. I may have been running a live stream while watching it, so I couldn't get a whole lot out of it. I've totally been like watching a live stream of a different board gamer while running a live stream, being like, I can't actually listen to their live stream, but I'm like looking at it,
Yeah.
I'll be in chat
Oh,
like, hey guys,
wow.
what's going on? And people will be like, oh, hey Roy, what's going on? And I'll be like,
Who
I wonder if they
streamed it?
realize I'm literally running Fantasy Flight
So they do it on YouTube or Twitch?
on YouTube. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go watch it. It does have like that like big world map thing kind of going. That would be.
And it has like stats on like the Marvel characters and things like that. So I'm wondering if it is similar. So we'll see.
That would be really cool. I would be down for that for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, good stuff. But yeah, we've been going at this for a while. We started a little bit late, so I guess we can. That's like it's like cutting
I'm still
calories,
shopped
right?
Gloomhaven.
Go back to shopping.
We can't stop the podcast until Rob has back Gloomhaven, so we'll be here.
Yeah, we gotta do that. We can,
It's
on
like
the
a PBS
Amertrash thing.
telethon.
If Dustin is still in chat, we do remember that when we were playing a Super Amertrash game last month, that Dustin killed 2 animals in it, and that was probably the highlight of the day.
Yeah.
He threw a dog out of an airlock and a monkey.
He did. He did.
God, yeah. Station Fall is something.
I would play that again. I
would
know
too.
Ken hated it.
Why did he hate it? Just because it's so crazy, or
It's
He
bad.
basically gave up on even taking turns and still almost won at the end. That's how luck driven the game is.
Gave
but,
up on
Okay, I
taking
wish they
turns?
would have worked on the movement mechanics a little bit more, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When he killed that corgi, when he went out,
I
and
think it was
killed
a
that
pug.
corgi-
I think it was a
It was a
pug.
pug. It was a pug.
Yeah.
When he killed that pug, Courtney's face was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's one of those games. There's so many little ridiculous things you can do that, like, at first don't seem like they'd have an impact on the game. Again, because the rule book is all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Rob, are you
And-
sure this wasn't Dustin trying to audition to be part of your D&D group by killing innocent things?
No, but you know what? You know what is killing it? The Jaws of the Line expansion set minis are only $30. That's killing.
Oh, that's very affordable.
Only $30 for the Jaws of the Line expansion set minis.
Rob,
They
you need to
could
hit
be
up
yours.
Sela Fair and like proposition them to be a salesman because you can make a good side hustle out of this, man.
I'll tell you what, man. The last time,
How many miniatures does it come with?
47.
Dustin in the chat said the dog had it coming.
Dude, it was. Oh my
He had
god,
no remorse when he killed it, and the
legend.
and it had such a great table presence. Like the board and everything is huge.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
It looks great. It looks like it's a big, massive game.
I would 100% play that game again. I think it does suffer from, again, go back to Mansions of Madness or Eldritch Horror.
Yeah.
If somebody at the table hasn't played the game, you're probably really going to struggle.
What, half of us didn't or
Well,
haven't?
Matt and I played it twice in one day in an effort to mitigate that.
Yeah, and it still was.
It was still a little bumpy once we added all the people and stuff.
Yeah, but like playing it that second time, I feel like you're saying, it does sort of reward multiple plays. And like if you had a group who's just like, yeah, we're just gonna leave Station Fall set up, and we may just try to do a quick whatever. I could see it kind of getting really interesting because it's like we didn't even touch half the stuff that was on the ship. We were just
yeah.
moving things and just trying to do this and that, and it's like I can see it being one of those things where you're like, okay, well, I don't want to do this because they're going to think about that, and then, okay, so I'll move over here and have this guy pick up the firebomb. What am I doing? That's crazy, you know? But like, I don't, you know.
I had the guy who was a botanist, and I had my plant going around eating everybody.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
great, too. That was great too.
Yeah, I had to
Oh, man.
need to see more.
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
those games where like it's so asymmetrical that it's like just bananas to keep track of it.
Yeah.
I think maybe my biggest grief with the whole thing was how hard it was to discern the miniatures from one another.
Yes.
Because
That
there's
game,
so many of them.
that game needed acrylic standees, not minis.
Yeah. I would like to see more board games do that for certain types of games where it's like just do like the like the Arknight flat plastic miniature style ones where they're full color. Like just do that. Or like Dead of Winter, I think just had like the the cardboard tokens. That was fine if you're gonna have to have 50 of them. Like
Nothing wrong with them.
It works. I mean, I would like the plastic, but it works.
Well, like at some point, Rob, you're going to be like, I have too much plastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and for Dead of Winter being the good game that it is with the standees, it works.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the issue with Stationfall is like there's so much. The board is so busy. There's so many players on the board,
Yeah.
and you need to keep track of who's where for certain reasons. So it's just hard to glance at it and go, "Oh, the botanist is there." No, he's over there, because they all kind of are all just flat gray, unless you painted them all up to actually match the player cards. That was the part that was kind of tough about it.
Yeah, and it was just like the other thing was like every player controlled every character on the board up until you revealed who you were. So it was just abject chaos, because it was like social deduction sort of. God, what was that one game? It was like it was a costume party thing or something.
Sounds like Rumble in the House or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was basically sort of like everybody moves everybody, and you have a secret character, and then when you reveal them,
that sounds like Rumble in the
House.
That's exactly what Rumble in the House is.
Yep.
Yeah,
and everybody's got their own little objectives and are doing different little things, and it's just.
Yep. So you're moving. You might move other people because you're doing it to deceive, or you're doing it to like. There's a fair amount of like. It could be a really good time. It just. I think
it's
struggled.
So
well, we struggled in the mid game, and then I think, I'm looking. I say this respecting that, like, I wouldn't ever ask Kent to play it again, but I also felt bad towards the end because he was clearly done with it, and you're kind of like, you kind of just started to want to wrap it up because, like, I love Kent and I don't want him to be having a bad time. Yeah. And even though, like, I'm kind of like giggling my way through this ridiculous moment, I realize that Kent, who puts a lot of effort and time into making sure all of us have a good time, is kind of like, F this game at that point. So you feel bad for your friend, I think, a little bit. You're like, well, I don't hate this.
Also, I think it was interesting because I had no idea who the designer was, and then it's so it's Matt Euclid, and then as soon as I said that, Kent was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense."
yeah, that's typical.
Does he like
Kent.
hate his games or something?
Yeah, he's like they're all.
He's like Phil Euclid's son, and apparently they just have a whole history of making games that are just wildly finicky or complicated, or have
massive, bloated
for no reason.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. It's just like a Goldberg machine of.
Yeah, and the rule book for the game was not great either. Like, it was really weird. Remember, we were going through it and we're like, why did they do this?
yeah, and it's like the other rule book that's like the one that's semi decent is just like a codex of all the symbols and stuff and what they do and what it can do, and it's just like, okay, so this isn't even really telling me much about how we move. I just know what this wrench does.
The more Rob is quiet, the more I feel like he's has less money.
You can see it scrolling by in his glasses.
I can literally see Gloomhaven in his glasses as he's scrolling by.
It's not good right now. The only reason I haven't hit back it yet is because everything I'd want, shipping would be an additional $80.
Dang it.
And since our show has started, they have already gone up $70,000. So you're welcome, Gloomhaven.
It was us.
That's all us. 100% us for sure.
Yeah. We're really helping direct traffic to backer.
Listen, guys.
Dustin got one. Matt got one.
Yeah.
All right. Ron Fraser got one. Wayne Kruger got one. They all got one. Steve got one. Everyone in chat got one.
Seth Rose got two.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the thing that
kickback.
The thing that kind of sold me on it was just Adam going, look, from a role-playing game perspective, it's a huge savings for just a starter kit beyond any starter kit that's ever been.
Oh my god,
bro! When you look at all those minis and all the things that it offers, it really is. Like, if you just got the mini portion of it, if you just went all in on minis, you could have enough miniatures to do some crazy snares. Now, you're gonna get the big dragons? No, it doesn't come with all the big dragons, but all your townspeople, all like the little villains, the slime cubes, the animals and stuff. Like, bro, it's a lot. And to get the Jaws of the Lion 47 minis for only $30, Roy?
Good thing I have willpower. Also,
there it is.
I gotta go charge my car.
And we're done.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's awesome. That's all. It kind of has something for everyone, and they have so many different pledge levels. That's like, if you want a role playing game, you can have a role playing game. If you want a board game, you can have a board game. If you want just mass amounts of minis, you can have mass amounts of minis. It'll be crazy to see how high it goes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it will make all the money.
Yeah.
We'll check in this time 2 weeks from now.
Nah, I can hardly wait.
We need to see where it's at. We need to see how close we are. I'm still thinking. I'm still with mine. Over. Over or under. I'm still saying over 15.
I'm gonna say, oh goodness, I'm gonna
Frost Haven
say,
was 12.9.
I'm gonna say 13.
You're like the guy on Price is
All
Right.
right.
It's $1.
Nah.
That's what I was going to ask if we were playing Price is Right rules.
If we are, I'm going 13-1.
Well, you can. Normally, like with the Dice Star Kickstarter, if we ever do this, I'm always like the highest person because I like to be optimistic.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna be cautious. I'm gonna be cautious on this one.
Well, I'll be optimistic. I'm gonna say 18-5.
Wow.
Ooh, 18-5.
That's going up. It could be higher though. It could be insane.
Well, the other thing is, I noticed that in there for like $75, there's an upgrade kit from first edition Gloomhaven to second edition that has all the classes and stuff in it that just comes in a prepackaged box that for $75. And it's like, how many copies of Gloomhaven did you guys sell? And you're now just going to go $75 to get this.
I mean, people still buy it.
Yeah, they are going to.
Bro, I did that for Blood Rage. I ended up spending more on Blood Rage second
digital
let's not talk about Blood Rage.
all of my first one, and I still freaking love that game.
Yeah,
but I tell you what, man, $630 will get me everything and shipping, and then there's taxes. The only problem is if you look on the shipping, they're not looking at you getting the minis until Q1 of 2025.
What?
Yeah.
I'm out.
There it is.
Yeah.
Roy's
There
like
it
vindicated.
There it is. Yeah. The shipping and the timeline and stuff.
I'm over my 12.
Campaign
No, I'm
ends.
kidding.
Pledge manager opens in August. The manager closes in September. Yeah, they're not even starting to.
The thing is, people don't normally look at the ship date. They just back it and be like,
Yep.
But still, what are we talking about? 18 months,
forget it.
basically, because it says January 2025. So let's just say
that's pretty normal, honestly. Almost everybody's 18 months. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's really not that bad. And for all of this stuff, what are you getting? How many miniatures are you going to get with all of that? 600 something miniatures.
Rob's just trying to talk himself into it.
I was going to say, does anybody just think it's Rob talking to himself at this
point? We better end this thing before Rob accidentally shows his credit card numbers on the screen. We better end this. So.
The problem is I've bought so much for my computer. My computer has my card memorized. They're like, Mr. Newman, this one or this one? All right, we'll just plug in the numbers.
Yeah.
Hey man, never do what I do, which is memorize my entire card.
I have done that in the past on old cards.
Man, I'll be buying some crazy stuff sometimes. Random websites with like weird stuff. Yeah. $35? Sure, why not?
Yeah. Marlo's actually listening to the stream right now, and she told me she's barricaded the basement door. So that she just texted me. She said, "Tell Rob just to get comfy in that chair."
Oh,
He's never allowed to leave.
He lives there now.
I'm okay with that.
He's like, as long as she slides Gloomhaven under the door once it gets in.
Yeah, he's like, I just need to shoot for food, and we're all set.
Hey, we have the laundry chute, so just drop it down.
There it is.
Well, bro, 603 minis. So think about it. If you do that, it's basically I'm paying $1 a mini, and that covers shipping, and I get the RPG, I get the games, I get everything. If you really want to break it down,
I'm not saying it's not a good deal.
$1.02, not even 2 cents, $1.01, because it's like $630. $630 for the game and shipping, and that's not just the game. That's also Jaws of the Lion. That's also Frosthaven. That's Gloomhaven, and all the minis. And again, Roy, you can get Jaws of the Lion minis for only $30. Comes with 47 of them.
Which I will say, just to back up Rob here, I think that's already an existing product and it'll probably ship quicker. Could be wrong though.
Hey, did I ever tell you guys about the time that Isaac Childress apologized to me personally? No. What was it? We were doing the Dice Tower Awards. I should totally be talking about this live on air. We were doing the Dice Tower Awards, and he's like, how come Jaws of the Lion wasn't nominated for Dice Tower Awards? It's a different game. And we had already planned and talked about in the office that we were going to give it a special award because it's so similar to Gloomhaven, but we didn't want it to win a whole bunch of awards again because Gloomhaven already won a ton of awards. So I texted him back, was like, calm down, man, just wait a second. anyway, we had the awards. We gave the special award and all this stuff. And Gloom at Gen Con, he came up to me and goes, "Hey man, I just want to say sorry about that tweet." So this millionaire said sorry to me. The least he could do, honestly, is send me a free Jaws of the Lion miniatures figures. You know.
Right now, 47 miniatures for $30.
You heard it here first.
I'm trying to save myself $30. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're awesome, Isaac. If you ever listen to this, you're not going to listen to this. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Roy Candidate can be bought for $30.
For $30. Just leave the money in the nightstand.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, well, this has gone off the rails, so I think it's time to go. But yeah, thanks everybody in chat. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Dustin, for randomly popping in and keeping us straight.
Yeah.
Matthew, super excited to see you at Gen Con.
Yeah, Gen Con's going to be a blast. Gen Con's going to be crazy.
Are you going to Gen Con now, Rob?
No, bro, I can't. I got to pay for Gloomhaven. I can't even afford Gen Con now. I'm not going to any cons this year. We're broke.
After Jaws the Lion. Or
Right,
after,
yeah, 603 minis.
But you're going to have plastic. Rob's like, Okay, guys. Well, it's been fun. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. See ya. Bye.
Adios.